What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Football Boot Hour with me, James, from this very channel, Boot Wizard, joined, as always, by my co-host, Andrew, from the Lockhart Boot Blog. But he's back for more punishment. I don't know why he thought coming back was a good idea, but Noah Kavanagh has joined us again, and he's joined us with a really fantastic idea. This is something Noah came up with, and we are going to rank or try and come up with what is the very best boot brand in 2024. We'll go into how we're going to do this because we're going to do it with maths and science. We're not just, this is technical. We're not just picking names out of the sky here. We'll get into that in a second. But first, of course, we won't do introductions. We all know who Noah is by now. And if you don't, go and watch the other podcast. Thanks. And like this one and get subscribed to this one. I forget to do that every week. Like this podcast, get subscribed to this podcast. We are live. You can drop your comments in the chat. But let's move on to regular weekly business. Noah, you are not in your normal studio, which means you've been out and about. What have you been wearing this week, or what have you been doing this week?
So I have been in the US of A, back home in Seattle, spent a little bit of time over in Spokane, Washington with Mark, or GCFC training, which has been awesome. This week I have been predominantly wearing two boots. One is the Asics DS Lite X-Fly 5 in this beautiful blue colorway. And the second one is the Vapor.
Nice. I saw you, you put up your Vapor playtest went up this week, which was,
it was great.
I enjoyed that very much. And you were very positive about the Vapor as a whole, which is great. I don't know if you saw it yet, but the video I put up this week was essentially like an unboxing of the Vapor, because it took me it took me it took like over a week for my Vapors to get here. And then I was like, okay, I don't want to get out and like try and do like a 3-4 hour play test and then give it like, I'm just going to do an unboxing and kind of like a tech breakdown thing. And then kind of give some first impressions when I get them on feet. And I got halfway through that video with the boots on feet. And I literally say on camera, I am absolutely ripping off Noah Kavanagh's format right now.
Oh, that's all good. That's all good. I loved your video. It was awesome.
It was completely like, I was just going to go for like a train of thought. Didn't matter how long it went. I was just going to like do this thing and kind of give all the information. I literally started putting the boots on my feet and I was like, I am basically doing what Noah does, but worse right now. This is
doing
not
God's work.
This is not a good idea. But anyway, I'm waiting for the copyright notice. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Never.
Andrew, what have you been wearing this week? Have you got into your materials yet? Have you got into your vape?
No, I've been super busy this week.
Oh man, still with your with Japanese school, I imagine.
Yeah, and having a kid, it's literally like go to school, wake up, go to school, get home, eat, and then an hour later, my kid comes home.
Okay, so he comes home from school like an hour after that, and then it's
Yeah, and
Okay.
I just keep asking him like, "Hey man, let's go play soccer today."
Yeah.
No, I won't play with my toys. I want to watch Bluey.
Well, everybody wants to watch Bluey because Bluey's amazing,
it's true.
and
It
I
is.
do. I give him that.
Yeah.
You know, that's cool. But a couple of weeks ago as well, he had this whole thing where he was going to he wanted to be a pro, and he was going out playing football with
Still
you.
saying that every now and then. We watched. So this week has been some of the early rounds of the Emperor's Cup, which is like the FA Cup here.
Okay.
And we're watching a pro team play a college team. This college team is just notoriously always producing talent. Like Matoma, that's where he went to college.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So it was a really, really good match. But he was sitting there like, "Oh, good shot. Oh, nice touch." Like just copying what I was saying and stuff. I was like, yeah. And then he turns around and he was like, "How much longer until this is over?" Why don't you brush your teeth, man, and go to bed?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
We will hold off waiting for the for the vapor review a little while.
Yeah. I'll get it. I'll get it done I'll get some playtime done this weekend. I've actually got a day off on Monday, which is amazing.
Oh, miracles do happen.
Before we get started, there is a thing that needs to be addressed.
Andrew has a thing to address.
Yeah. And so on our, I hope this guy's watching. On our previous podcast, someone left a comment. It was a very long, detailed comment. So basically, first I'd like to say, when you assume stuff, you make an ass out of you and me.
Do love that.
Yeah. Apparently we're not hardcore speed lovers, especially me, as I sit with a Vapor, an F50, a Speed Flow, an Evo Speed, an Ultra, and a Skechers Razor around me. And then, to top it off, I just figured I'd write a list. There's 75 boots on here, and you can stop it and pause and look. And if you want to be pedantic, you could probably cross some of the names off and get down to like 67. But 75 pairs of speed boots I've worn the whole time I've played. So I would like to think I know what I'm talking about when it comes to speed boots. I also didn't appreciate the insinuation that you and I have wide feet, which is definitely not true in the slightest. Like, the guy said, you guys just like comfortable wide fits. And it's like, no, couldn't be further from the truth. Noah's got wide feet, and even Noah still does speed boots. So, you know, yeah, I also didn't like that we should approach this from a speed boot lover's point of view with our Vapor reviews, which that's never going to happen. You don't approach reviews with like, oh, I need to think like this. No boot on the market exists in and of itself. They have to compete with every other boot on the market. That's just how it is. And if it's not good enough, it's not good enough. That's not our problem. We don't adjust the way we think or the way we review stuff just based on, oh, well, it is a speed boot, so I can understand it won't be as comfortable. No, there's other boots on the market, and it's our job to tell people, like, hey, this boot does not fit good if you don't have a certain foot shape, or hey, this boot does not perform well. Like, you know, like Noah was saying in his Vapor playtest, like, do not wear these on AG. Or should we take our minds out of it and say, well, oh, but I understand some people will, so, you know, never mind. You know, we shouldn't give warnings saying don't wear this on AG. No, there's a lot of people who dip in and out of different boots all the time. I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of people wearing Vapors this generation because they fit so well for a lot of people. That's fine. But, you know, to ask us to ignore our own opinions and our own thoughts and stuff and how other people might feel is, quite frankly, ridiculous. So, he left another comment where he called me out again, which was a weird thing to do. Yeah, he's just basically saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, there's a lot of ways you can criticize us. You can criticize the format of our reviews. You can criticize our opinions on a boot. Heck, you can even criticize like the way we do boot breakdowns. That's fine. That's all fine. But when you start going after people personally, anything you say after, no matter how respectful you think you sound, you know, adding with all respect does not mean it's respectful. That's just nice words to put it around you saying you don't think, you know, we know what we're talking about. So I've been around a long time. I've had a lot of people doubt, you know, my skills as a salesman, my knowledge about boots, you know, my experience, what I've done in my life. Like, that's all led to where I am. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn saying I'm not better than anybody else. That's definitely not true. And I definitely make mistakes. We all do. But this is who we are. We have, you know, we're doing this for a reason. And if you don't like what we do, again, start your own thing. The market would be better for it. Start your own thing. I have no problem with that at all. I have no problem if you come out of the gate and say, like, okay, I'm starting my own thing, but I don't appreciate Andrew's take on this. That's fine. By all means, do it. But don't start attacking us personally and insinuating things about us that you don't know. Like, we've been through a lot. We've been through massive injuries and come back from that. James had a massive heel issue for years. He couldn't wear boots properly. Noah's been through some massive injuries because of boots he's worn. That's just how it is. We're going to judge and continue to judge boots on our own terms. And again, if you don't like it, start your own thing. That's fine. Come out of the gate and say, I don't think they were right because, the heel was this or the fit was this, yada, yada, yada. But don't sit there and say like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. Because that's basically what you said. It's really, in my mind, it's really disrespectful. You can be as nice about it as you want, but that's really disrespectful, and I don't appreciate that. I greatly appreciate the support. I appreciate comments, but don't be disrespectful directly to people. We're all in this together. We all want boots to be better. But don't be mean to people personally.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. I think all of that is perfectly reasonable, and I think obviously all three of us as reviewers, for me, there was obviously the big point that I'm never going to approach something from that perspective of, okay, I need to approach this as, from the perspective of a speed boot lover or something like that. If it's a speed boot and it's great, I can say that I maybe expect a speed boot to be more uncomfortable, but I'm never going to allow a speed boot to be uncomfortable when I'm reviewing it. If it's uncomfortable, it's uncomfortable. They then have to do better. And there might be certain things that you have as expectations with boots that may get broken, which sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. I have been pleasantly surprised by the upper on these. I was very much not.
Absolutely.
Very much not expecting to like GripKnit on a Mercurial. But you know what? Hell, it's good. And I can't sit here when I do my review and say, oh, it's GripKnit on a Mercurial, therefore it must be a bad boot because that's not right for a speed boot. That's not how it works. It's a good boot. And the GripKnit on that is one of the reasons it makes it a good boot. Many things.
Apparently,
I think you
we
covered
only
it
just went live, by the way.
While you were doing that, I had to adjust something. Yuli messaged me in the group chat and said that the live wasn't live, so I had to get
my
creative.
rant will be up later.
So the first 10 minutes for anybody joining us, the first 10 minutes there will go up live. So if anybody doesn't know how this works now, we go live on a Friday at 11 p.m. GMT, and then we after the live finishes, the whole podcast disappears. You never see it again until 11 a.m. GMT on a Sunday, when a lovely, edited, full HD, 4K, wonderful audio version of it will magically appear on my channel. So the benefit to you coming on with us live is that you get to ask questions, you get to interact, and you get to see us first. But should there be any issues, we fix those and put them back up. Put it back up at 11 a.m. on a Sunday, provided I don't disappear again this time, because that caused all kinds of problems trying to do an edit to the point where I just had to give up and leave the live version up. But anyway.
I just see this comment saying, at least I haven't missed much.
You've missed a lot. Daniel Johnson, sorry I'm late. No, mate. You were not late.
We're late.
We were late. Well, we weren't late. We were just on and there was no live. Yuli's in the house. Proper Boots in the house. The OC Boot Blog is here. Ollie is here.
Hey.
Repping England. Let's go. Poet Anderson, that is Justin from as the Texas Cleat Collector, is here. Is here but at work. Justin, don't cut anybody's ear off if you get too excited.
Well. Yeah, seriously.
Chris's Footy Kicks is here. Gonzalo Manzano is here. Daniel Johnson is here. I've already said that. Teo Skills, we are kicking off. GCFC Training is here. Mark is in the house. Mark, you need to come on as a guest at some point too, as well, I think. True Jesus, Footloose Boots. Ollie, you've ruined it. Ollie said it's coming home. He's jinxed the whole thing.
He's
jinxed the whole thing.
He's jinxed the whole thing.
80, hi all. Hey, 80, how we doing? And with regards to that, the England women won this evening. They beat Ireland. So, I tell people that I work out of kind of like the garage in my house because, that's where I work and that's where my studio is, not because my entire family is like Irish and in the house, and I've definitely been kicked out because England just beat Ireland. But that's not the point. Oh, okay. Let's move on, shall we? So we have this week's releases to rank. There's been it just feels like such a weird week for releases. If anybody missed what we were wearing this week, again, it will all be up along with Andrew's. You have to come back and watch Andrew's take on reviews. That was the first 10 minutes of this. You have to come back and watch that. But this week's releases, the first one I have on the list here is the New Balance 442 Blackout. Now, this is just literally a full blackout 442. There is not a hint of anything on this. It is black on black on black. Triple black, I believe Nike used to call it. Noah, what are your thoughts on the 442 Blackout?
The 442 is an awesome football boot. It's like one of my main recommendations for people on a budget because I think it's actually fantastic, especially with the K leather. However, we are rating the colorway, and I would say usually for me, the Blackout 442 would be a good, but I'm going to put it in meh because we have had so many blackouts recently. I'm like, guys, just please do a dark gray. Do something different. Like something.
You might say we're about to black out because all blackouts.
Meh for me.
Andrew?
Same. It's just, and I mentioned this before, it's not even a budget option where I live.
That's true. That's true.
There's so expensive that is. It's so insane.
There's like several Asics and Mizuno boots that are way cheaper and nicer.
Yeah.
So.
It's meh for me as well, just because of blackout fatigue is what I'm calling it. I can't take more blackouts. It's ridiculous. Okay, next up on my list is so Adidas dropped another colorway in the Copper Gloro. It's essentially the Tony Kroos colorway, the white with the blue. With a blue fold over tongue. So you kind of get the Kroos colorway, a little fold over tongue. The leather's probably just as good anyway. So yeah, it's, I think it looks pretty good. Noah, what are you thinking?
I'm in between meh and good on this one. I feel like there's been a lot of hype around Tony Kroos. I feel like I'm a little, I'm kind of used to it at this point. Like I'm sort of desensitized to that colorway now. I feel like, even the Vapor is the same, like white and blue, so it's like, and like, it's kind of like, so I'm going to go meh, but I'm happy to like move up if you guys are both in the good category.
It's a democracy. We'll see what happens. Andrew, where you at?
Meh.
Meh as well?
Yeah, I might actually test these Gloros, to be honest.
They look good.
They're super cheap here. It is silly how cheap they are here. They're like $65.
Nice.
Whoa.
Yeah. It helps that the yen is stupidly weak right now. And I make I keep a list of all the boots I buy and sell. And I always put it in dollars so I don't feel as guilty when I'm buying them. Because I'm like, oh, actually, these weren't so... Sure, they were 30,000 yen, but that's like $182. Not bad.
Nice. So meh, and yeah, I'm kind of between meh and good. I quite like them. I think it's a good thing to do with the colorway, but similar to Noah and similar to the blackouts, I also have Tony Kroos fatigue when it comes to this as well. So meh. We are saucy this week. We are not happy about anything, are we? No. Okay. Next up, we have the. So this just seems to be like a late addition to the pack, I suppose, because it goes with all the others. With the launch of the Asics DS Lite Acros Pro 3 in the purple white colorway, which again, it's nice, same as the others. Noah?
I'm going to go with good on this one. I like that purple's a little different. I feel like we don't get a lot of purple boots all that often. So, yeah, good for me.
Nice. Andrew?
Yeah, same. It's very interesting because they very suddenly, not too many months ago, had, like, start of this year, had released new colors in the Across 2 series. And then just, like, 2 months ago, they slashed the prices on all of them. I was like, oh, that's weird. I guess they're going to clear them out. And it really seemed like they're just going to get rid of the series because, you've got the limited edition models of the Pro 2 and the X55, and those kind of fill the gap of having a synthetic upper. But no, they've come back with the 3 and everything, and they look really good. So I'll definitely be testing them. I'm sure Noah will too. I think it's going to be a fight to see who gets theirs out first.
I'll just wait in the background and pick the bones of whatever's left after you guys have reviewed it. I probably will review those. Actually, they look nice, and based on what ASICS are doing, I think that's a boot that I definitely want to get in. I think good as well. Looks interesting, nice colorway, not anything too crazy to get it into great, but I think it's good. Let's have a look. If you are in the chat, I'm not looking at the chat currently, but if you are in the chat and you have your thoughts, please do drop them in there on where you would rank all of the boots. Proper boots. Did we discuss the white, pink, black New Balance pack yet? No, because it's technically not released, so it's not on my list.
It is.
Is it? Is it released?
But it is. It released here at midnight.
Boom.
Yeah.
It's official. Okay.
It's official.
Well, all right, screw it. Let's do that then. So there's this new colorway from New Balance, which is, I don't know how to describe it. I'll put a picture up when I do the edit. But it's kind of like this mad colorway, but also understated in some really nice ways. I like the design in the N. I don't know how to describe it. It's like it belongs in the 80s. There's something about it that gives me like 80s vibes.
Does.
And I really like it. I'll happily go first. I think that's great. That is a great looking, because there's a Furon and a Tequila, and I think they're great. Like, Noah, thoughts?
I gotta agree with you. I think they're really unique looking. Like, they're subtly unique. You know how you have those boots that are like, whoa, like I've never seen that before. And then this one is like, I'm super pumped. Also, the photo that we got in our chat with is it an MG sole plate or the AG or HG? I want to get the Furons in HG so bad. I think that would be such a good boot. But yeah, great for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the HG, I think Ricky was sharing that, wasn't he? With the HG plate. And I agree. I think that looks special, like really, really good.
They really just need to offer HG plates worldwide.
I know, right?
It's
like,
bizarre they don't.
Well, like the Tequila, for example, the only AG option they offer in the Tequila is in the laceless. They don't even have an AG option in the low lace Tequila, which is mad. But are you great as well, Andrew, with that one?
Yeah. We still don't have the Tequila here.
It's still you got an overly expensive 442. They're throwing the Furon at you, and they will not give you the Tequila.
Will not give us the Tequila.
Also, a quick aside about that that new colorway from New Balance. If you delete the pink accent marks on it, it's basically the Skechers silver and green colorway, except they've matted out the silver. Like, it's the same silver and like lime green color, but if you matte out the silver and put a little pink accent, it just like you elevate it so much. I don't know how that happened.
Because like that Skechers colorway is nice. I like that Skechers colorway, but the difference if you were to show me them side by side, I would look at that New Balance one and be like, oh, that's way better. Like the 100%. New Balance one is levels above.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. I need to go and get pictures now. I need to look at that. That's fantastic. So thank you, Footloose Boots, Andrew, for that one. And next up on my list is the Nike Shadow Pack. So this is a blackout pack with the new Mercurial, the GX, and the Tiempo. And the funniest thing about this for me, I put it up on my story with some links, is that on Nike.com, you can go on and you can buy the GX and the Luna in the blackout pack that launched in end of January, I think. And it's black with a little white accent. And the new one is black with a little green accent. And you can buy the black with the little white accent for like between 30 and 50% off. Like, why would you buy the new ones? Like, What's the point? Like,
Nike gonna Nike.
Nike gonna Nike. Brand's gonna brand at the moment, it seems.
Yeah, seriously.
But no, what are your thoughts on another blackout, and where would you like to rank it?
It's meh for me. It's just, okay.
Yeah, moving on. Andrew?
I'm gonna put it in awful.
Awful. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm fed up. I'm so fed up.
He has definitely had enough. Definitely had enough. It's definitely not any higher than meh. And I was tempted to put it in bad, but I do like the way that the new Mercurial looks with the chevrons and the black, but I don't particularly love a blackout. I will say that I have ordered a pair in the AG though. I've got the AG Superflies because I want to compare the AG AGs. Superfly to the FG. You know what? I'm going to say bad, and we'll just aggregate the whole thing and put it in bad.
Bad. Sounds good.
There we go. That I think
I'm okay with that.
A combination of the stupidity of having the GX in there. Like, I have this right. Sorry, slight aside. You launch the GX and the Lunar in January in this kind of black and white, right? And then you're going to launch the Mercurial later in the year, and you're going to want a blackout pack. Completely understand that. Why do you not maintain the GX and Lunar from earlier in the year in that blackout colorway throughout the year, and then add the Mercurial to it when it drops? Like, so then you call it the Shadow Pack, call it whatever. It used to be the Academy Pack, didn't it? So have you like your year-long Academy Pack. It has your GX and your Lunar, your Mercurial drops, and then you just insert that into your Academy Pack. Why is that so hard?
That's what you mentioned. Yeah, you mentioned that in the previous, like the episode between the ones that we've done,
I think
like last week's episode.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about just like every brand should have a blackout all the time. I think that would save everybody so much thought.
It's the same with Adidas, and obviously dropping the Predator and then a blackout Predator and then the F50. Then they needed a blackout F50, so they dropped a blackout Predator with gold accents. It's dumb. Just keep inserting your boots into a blackout pack. It's not difficult, people.
Hi, Chris.
Hello.
Anyway, hello from Sweden as well.
Oh, from Sweden. Who's here from Sweden? Hold on, I need to go back over here.
I'm not reading the first part of your name, bro. In fact, translating that. I'm not reading that at all.
Is that not good to translate at all? Okay, cool.
It is not.
Fair enough. Yuli, calling for the people to hit that like button. Please do, guys. We appreciate it. Daniel Johnson says, but with Nike, didn't they release the Nike Tiempo blackout with blue in 2 different packs? Yes, they did.
Yeah, they did. It's available here for like $100 as well.
You are correct. And then finally on my list, unless there's anything I've missed, we have a gold wonder from Diadora. So this is the Diadora Maximum Elite, made in Italy. And this is it's shiny and it's gold. And I've never tried them, but god damn, they look nice. That is a good looking boot. Like, I can't get upset at the way that looks. It could be awful, but it looks great. Noah, what are your thoughts?
This is going in great for me. Top marks, 100%. These are, and to be honest, I look at those boots and I go, I don't even know if they'd look good on feet, but just like on a pedestal, they look insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. ProDirect get great pictures of those, like literally on like their pedestal with the white background. They got really nice pictures of those. Andrew?
Yeah, gorgeous. As someone who is old enough to have worn the original Maximus, it's nice to see them back in a modern interpretation. It's a massively underrated boot back in the day. They were chunky as hell, but my goodness, there was a lot of tech in them, and they were comfy.
Did Totti wear those for a bit?
He did wear them. Yeah. Yes, he wore them before he went back into Nike. He wore them for the 2006 World Cup.
I just always remember, it always felt right to me that, like, obviously, like, Maximus is very much like, you know, this Roman emperor kind of idea. And then you've got Totti in like these, you know, Roman emperor named boots. Is so perfect.
Well, it's funny because if you look at the description, it's like a legendary Roman player wore these. Because obviously Totti is still sponsored by Nike.
Yeah.
So.
They can't. Let's have a look. Lucas, we will. That is a big question that we will not be able to answer on this pod, but we do appreciate that. And Proper Boots has made a great point here. Actually, I don't think we ranked it the other week. There's the Baggio boot as well, the silver
that just came out.
Baggio boot that has just dropped. So we should definitely rank that as well.
Yeah.
And you know what? That can go in great as well because it's fantastic. That is great for me.
That's really good.
100%.
Great all around. Great all around. Diadora, I swear, if you made boots that people wanted to wear, you would be flying because we all love the way they look.
It's like, hey, you guys are doing so great. Let me just beat you down.
Just beat you with a big stick.
Bootcast showed up. I'm assuming that's Colby.
I'm assuming it is Colby, yeah. Driving home for kids' practice, but pulled over to say what's up. I appreciate that you pulled over. Stay safe.
I thought you said got pulled over, and I was like, well.
Anyone know sizing on the Baggios? Does anybody know sizing on the Diadora?
Yes. Go half size down.
Half size down. There you go.
Agreed.
There you go. There you go. Daniel Johnson makes an excellent point. I play football in the northeast of England, and I think I'd get stamped on in the head repeatedly if I dare even wear them. That applies to the gold or the silver.
You wouldn't get stamped on the head. They just straight up stab you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You'd be going up for a corner and be like, why am I bleeding from my back?
Sunday League in the UK, particularly in the north of England, can be rough.
God love it.
Oh, dear. However, with that done, and the fact that we are already half an hour into this football boot hour, we are not going an hour. This is going to take time, people. We will get on to the main topic. The main topic of the week, as I explained before we somehow went live, was that we are going to come up with the best brand for football boots right now. And the way we are going to do this is each boot within a brand. So say, let's take Nike, for example. They have the Mercurial, the Phantom, and the Tiempo. We are all going to score those boots in different categories. For example, the categories are, I haven't got this written down. The categories are looks, performance, fit, and feel. I'm good at this. There we go. And from those scores, obviously, each person then has an aggregate score for each of those. So if it's 8 all across the board, the Vapor gets an 8, for example. We don't have to go through each individual score, but we do want the overall score for the boot. We'll go through into some of them in more detail, some of them in less. And then say, for example, again, using the Mercurial as the example, say Andrew gives the Mercurial an 8 overall, Noah gives the Mercurial an 8 overall, I give the Mercurial an 8 overall. That
Don't
means
put
that
words
boot gets...
in my mouth.
That boot then gets an 8. We then take the score of the Mercurial, the Phantom, and the Tiempo, we average it out, and we have an overall score for that brand. However, that's not the end of that discussion. We might adjust the score. We may adjust the score based on certain other things, like is there enough diversity within the range and things like that. I have in front of me a spreadsheet. That's how much detail I've gone into this. I have a spreadsheet in front of me ready to calculate these scores. I am getting on this. So I suppose using the Mercurial as all of my examples there, we should start with Nike. So I will kick it to Noah. Are you ready for us, Noah?
I think so.
He's focused. So, Noah, do you want to give us your thoughts on the Mercurial, the Phantom, the Tiempo? Give us the scores that you feel are important and your overall scores for each of those silos, which I will plug into my spreadsheet and give us an average, and then obviously that will continue on. So, yes, the floor is yours, my friend.
Absolutely. Okay, so we are rating them, I assume, out of 10 for each category.
I went with out of 10, so I hope so.
Yeah,
I was
perfect.
rating them out 7.5. Sorry. I'll stop derailing this.
No, I need to get better at the offhanded, just completely random dad jokes.
You are on a podcast
It
with
will
two dads.
be you soon.
Like,
Oh, trust me. A couple of years.
Us.
Give me. Yeah, I will.
Join us.
the thing is, when you become a dad as well, it's not like you're like you enjoy making those jokes as well. It's not like you just got them.
Yeah, a
You're
light
like,
goes on in your. Well, I'd say a light goes on. A light turns off in your head and removes a filter.
It's the shame filter. There's none.
Yeah, the shame filter.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so
me dancing in public? I'd never do that. Me dancing in public to annoy my kid? Okay. Sorry.
No. I will put it here now. You heard it here now, live audience, and those of you listening in the future. The Boot Dads podcast coming in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Because there's those two that we get Noah in. You know, it's coming. We get Noah in. Justin, Colby, Yuli. There's a lot of us.
The whole crew.
Yes, I'm down
Boot
for that.
Dads.
Let's do it. Boot Dads.
Yeah. Okay, so scores out of 10. I'm going, let's go through the Merc first. So the Merc is a 6 out of 10 for looks for me. How much do you want me going into these, or do you want me just like rapid fire?
Whatever suits you. Like, don't worry about it. Like, boots that you think need more of an explanation and need more points taken, then do it.
Yep.
Boots that you're just like, here are my scores. You can do that. Like, I think the Merc probably has got more of an explanation to give. Once you get down to something like, I don't know, the Diadora Brazil, there's probably less reason to it.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so looks is a 6. That is mostly because of this little air right here. I just think it's kind of like it just ruins the design for me a little bit, and I wish they would have just gone for a small Nike swoosh or something a little more simple and creative. Performance gets a 7 out of 10. I think that's a fair rating. I think it has less lockdown than previous generations, so it's not quite as super specific. The fit for me gets an 8 out of 10. It's a little tight at the beginning, but it still is more accommodating. So for me, more general comfort and fit is great. And then the feel also gets an 8 out of 10. For me, I think it's really close to the foot. I think it does a great job for performance. Heel area hasn't given me any issues. And I appreciate wearing the Air Zoom for the first time because I haven't been able to actually properly test it out much because the 15 just absolutely destroyed my foot. So for me, that's going to get... do you want 0.5s or not really?
Yeah, so I've gone everything to 1 decimal place.
Beautiful.
I've got there that's a 7.25, so it's a 7.3.
7.3 out of 10. Beautiful. GX for me, looks also get a 6 out of 10. Again, it's a little bit of a weird looking boot. It's not as beautiful as previous Phantoms have been. I think comparing it to other things in the past, not so much. It's fine, but it's a little bit above average. I like that little Cyclone stuff going on. From a performance perspective, personally speaking, it's a 9 out of 10 for me. It's like exactly what I'm looking for in a boot. I absolutely love it. I love having grip element. I love having the fit and all that stuff. Fit for me is a 10 out of 10. It's probably one of the only 10 out of 10s that I will give. It's one of the only boots on the market. There's maybe 2 or 3. The only time I ever give a top marks is when I can fit into a boot out of the box and jump into a game without any issues, like 0. And that doesn't happen very often. And so fit and feel both get a 10 out of 10.
Okay, so 10 for the fit, 10 for the feel, 6 for the looks. And 9
and 9 for performance.
For performance. Cool. So that is a big 35, which gives it an 8.8. Huge
8.8 out of 10. All right, now we're going to go the other direction with the Tiempo, which I despise with all of my heart. Okay, so the looks of the Tiempo, I'm going to go with a 5. It's not great looking, some colorways. It's one of those boots that I think is annoying because the colorway makes a massive difference on what it looks like. And that to me says, the design isn't great. The best design boots in the world, you can put whatever colors on you want. And it's like, see ya. So 5 out of 10. Performance gets a 4. It's just not where it needs to be for a Tiempo. Fit and feel are both 3 out of 10. I think they're horrible fitting. They're way too narrow. And they're not what a Tiempo should be.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. So that gets a 3.8. That is an absolute battering at the end there. Oh dear, that brings the whole score on that down so heavily. So that means that your brand score for Nike is a 6.6. So that is your overall brand score for Nike. Andrew, you're up. Let's go.
Oh, Mercurial looks 4. It looks so chunky. You like the design language. I don't understand what they're trying to go for here. You could still keep this boot to be nice and wide for most people and know I have a great Mercurial to wear without making it look like, it looks like a giant's foot could fit in these. This air is disgusting. It completely ruins the look of the book. The boot. They could have gone so much simpler. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 4. That air just throws me off. And also because the foot doesn't reach the end of the boot properly in the insole. That's such an annoying design choice. That's just such a pet peeve for me.
So dumb.
Performance, I haven't played in them yet. I'm going to make an assumption and say they're going to probably be an 8.
Okay.
The fit, I'll give it a 6.
Okay.
There's too much volume for me. And the heel is very comfortable, but there's so much gaps in the heel, which is just weird for a Mercurial. It should fit tighter.
Yeah.
And the feel, I'm going to be generous, give the feel an 8. They really went for it. And like the upper is so stupidly soft out of the box. It's
ridiculous.
Like,
that upper is saving everything for that boot for me.
It's so good. Like, yeah, okay, it's grip knit, but like, y'all should have done this earlier. It's so nice. It's so soft. Like, I really feel like I can run out into a game in these and not have issues. That's well done, Nike. That's really good. And I have a feeling that it'll be one of my favorite vapor uppers ever.
Andrew, out of curiosity, what would you, like, let's say we were doing this for the 15, what would you rate the 15 for a feel perspective compared to this one?
Less.
Okay.
The 15 felt a bit too plasticky for me.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the only thing I think that the 15's got over this is lockdown. Like lockdown on 15 is out of this world, and this doesn't have that. But anyway, let's not get into that. Sorry, Andrew, continue on. That was your score for the Mercurial. There is a 6.5, so that's a 6.5 overall.
That's better than I would have given the 13. So,
ouch.
Sorry, man. It's just not a good boot.
Continue. Breaking my heart.
Okay, Phantom. Looks, I'm going to give it a 7. I don't mind the looks so much. I kind of like the spiral sort of thing in the enveloping circles and stuff. Yeah. I actually like that. I don't know. It sparks something in me. Maybe not positivity, but it sparks something in me.
Does it spark brilliance? Sorry.
Maybe not. I'll also give the performance a 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fit will get a 6.
Okay.
But the feel will give it 8. I'll give it an 8.
Nice. So it's a 28 overall, which gives it an overall score of 7.
Yeah, I'd say it's better than the Merc. The Legend looks 3. There's so many things they could have done to make that look good, and they just said, eh. Performance? I haven't performed. I have no idea. Just leave that blank.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. I just divide by less numbers.
Yep.
That's how averages work, James.
Yeah. Maths. Fit, 4.
4. Wow.
For a Legend, it's terrible.
Okay.
And feel, again, I haven't played in them, but
you can leave it blank.
I want to beat this horse down. It's a 4 as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So
Do
that gives it actually a slightly lower score than even Noah gave it, and that's going to get you a 3.7.
Generous, to be honest.
So
honestly,
what we have. So Andrew has an almighty Nike score of a 5.7. That is
do better.
That is rough.
Do better.
Dear. Okay, so me, I suppose.
Yes.
So I starting with the Vapor there. So the fit I have given an 8. I literally had this thought earlier. I think I'm somewhere between Noah and Andrew. Like my foot isn't as wide as Noah's, so I don't find the fit quite as good, and I have a bit of an issue with not the back of the heel, but the width around the side of the heel. But overall, the fit across the rest of it, the length, everything is pretty much perfect. I really, really like it. So, that's 8 for me on the fit. The feel is, I've only been out on them once, but I love the touch in all areas, like the grip knit and the atom knit, I think is great. And I gave that an 8.5. And then performance overall, I gave an 8. I'm very impressed. There are the grip knit and that upper is just, it's doing things, it's doing everything, and it makes such a huge difference to the boot, even where there's flaws. And then the looks, I gave a 5 because that's this. I don't like the air branding.
So stupid.
I think I said this in my kind of stream of consciousness Noah Stolen review, that if you'd have got rid of that and just had the swoosh,
it would have looked
even the
so
swoosh
much
on either
better.
side, that would have been so good. So
Vapor 8 all over again, and people are like, "Oh, it's a throwback! Oh my gosh, I have to buy these."
Yeah, absolutely. Which means that for me, that gets a 7.4, which is the highest score of any of us so far by 0.1. So the GX and Luna 2, I have the fit at a 6.5 because there's just too much room on the instep for me. It's so close. It is so close. I don't hate it, but there's too many issues with the volume of the boot, basically. The feel, the touch on the ball with the grip knit, I think is fantastic, and I gave that an 8.5. The performance overall, because of our Mr. Floppy over here, I gave a 7. So it's still good. I still really like it, but there's just that really bugs me, the outsole stiffness. And looks, I gave a 6. I don't dislike it. I much prefer the Luna to the GX, but there's nothing particularly that I really love about it. But I do quite like the Luna, but overall 6. So what have I got? What have I given it there? That is a 7 overall for that one, which is
okay. Now bash the legend.
Same as Andrew did. I am definitely not going to bash the legend as hard as you guys bash the legend by any stretch of the imagination. Like, this is definitely going to end up with a score that's higher than both of your 3.7s and 3.8s. So fit, my main issue with the fit, I don't think I brought, I did bring my legends with me. Hold on. My main issue with the fit is the square toe. I found it really weird. I don't like it, like this kind of odd square toe. But overall, I don't hate it, but I'm also not looking at it from the perspective of it doesn't really fit like a Tiempo would fit. I'm just like, the fit is decent. So I gave that a 6. The feel, touch on the ball, again, I have no Tiempo based bias or anything like that, and I quite like it. I think it's very good. So I gave that a 7. The performance overall, I also gave a 7. I think it's good. And the looks, I see this, I don't dislike that. Like, I think this is nice. The thing that it's kind of what Noah said, where different colorways present like different issues for this boot, and that gray colorway was just disgusting. And part of that issue is because the boot is kind of bland. So I gave that a 5. So while it is my lowest scored Nike boot, I have not given it near the rinsing that you guys gave it.
That it deserved.
And I have given it overall a 6.3 for that one there.
It's almost double our scores.
Well, yeah, like you. So Andrew gave it a 3.7, Noah gave it a 3.8, and I gave it a 6.3. So what that does, putting all the scores together, Andrew's overall Nike score is a 5.7. Noah's is a 6.6, and mine is a 6.9. And that leads us to a total score of 6.4. So Nike scores a 6.4. I'm just so mean, fanboy. Oh,
such a fanboy. Remove your bias. That Tiempo is crap, and you know it.
I genuinely quite like it. Like, I don't dislike that boot. Oh dear. D-Rod says forward these Tiempo ratings to Nike so they can make updates. Footloose boots, just please save the 10s. Yeah, I didn't. I saved them a little bit. Couldn't imagine Tio skills. Couldn't imagine the Tiempo getting worse. Wow.
I genuinely believe they're trying to kill the Tiempo. I genuinely believe that.
I thought for a long time they were trying to, like, they obviously done it now, but I thought they were trying to get rid of the leather a long time ago.
Oh my gosh. Since 2009, they've been complaining about the leather.
And they've only just kind of managed to get away with doing it. So, Chris Pottle says, are they not including the Premiere? Bump the scores up. No, we are not including the Premiere.
No.
This is, otherwise we will literally be here all night. We're going to be here a long time anyway. Yeah. Guys, get a snack, settle in. This is going to take some time. I'm really enjoying this. I'm such a nerd, such a maths nerd at this, but let's get into it. So for Adidas, which I suppose we will do next, which makes sense, get the big two done. There is obviously some areas, there's certain boots where I wasn't sure if we'd include them or not, such as the F50 Plus. Is that a boot to be included? I wasn't sure. And the F50 Messi as well. Like, it's a kind of one-off. It's not really a mainline. Do we include that?
Throw that in with the regular F50s. And
this was kind of my thought. So same with laced and laceless. They can kind of be bunched together.
Where are my goddamn Messis, Adidas?
I figure for the F50s, we kind of take the F50 as a package and pick the best one and use that as your reference point. So just the F50 Elite, the Predator Elite, the Copa Pure, and that's it. That's the three. That's what we do. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Nice. On it. Noah, you're up first, my man.
Alrighty, let's go F50 first. So I guess F50 Elite and F50 LL or laceless looks get a 7 out of 10 for me. I think it's a good looking silo, but I don't think it's the best F50 silo. Okay. And so that's a 7. Performance gets an 8 out of 10. I find especially the regular Elite model is very responsive and it's really good. The fit, unfortunately, is a little wonky for a speed boot. It's a little kind of thin midfoot, a little bit wider toe box. The heel area is actually quite decent for me, at least, but it does get perfect. So it does get a 6 out of 10, unfortunately, for fit. But from a feeling perspective, I like it. Above average, I'm going to go 7 out of 10.
Nice. Gives it a 28 overall, which gives it a score of 7.
Beautiful.
Nice.
F50 Plus is kind of similar, but I actually downgraded it on a couple different of the looks and performance for a few reasons. So for me, the looks actually get a 5 out of 10. I love the colorway, but that extra little bump on the sole plate looks like clown shoes. It's like, what have they done here? I don't know. Like, I love the idea. I love what they're going for. I love Boost. I think it's great. But yeah, so 5 out of 10 there. Performance gets a 6, and part of that is just because I'm not a huge fan of the super curved sole plates. And also laceless boots are really hard for me to justify. So just from a performance perspective. But for me, the fit and feel get the same as the F50. So 6 and 7 respectively for fit and feel.
Nice. That gives it a 24, which gives it a 6 out of 10. Nice.
The Predator is obviously that's my favorite of the models still. For me, the looks get a 9. I think they look sensational. And even though the colorways have just been obnoxious with how many they've come out, this is, to our previous point about the Tiempo, it doesn't matter which Pred colorway has come out. They've all kind of hit pretty well. Like, there hasn't been one that I've been like, oh my God, I hate that. I've been like, oh yeah, okay, fair enough. It's not my thing, but like, it still looks good. So 9 on the looks, 8 on performance. Fantastic. That's the only reason it's not a 9 is because of the laceless model. And so I just knocked it down one quick point.
That's fair.
The fit is an 8 for me. And the feeling, materials, and everything gets a 9. I think they're great.
That is high praise.
Wow.
And, probably justified. That gets an 8.5. 8.5.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Lovely.
Now, Copa for me, looks gets a 4 out of 10. Not a huge fan of the way it looks. The new gen Copa. The performance.
Ollie OC Boot Blog just got very upset.
Yeah, unfortunately. The performance gets a 5 out of 10. Unfortunately, it's just not where it needs to be from a performance perspective. I've worn them in games before, and I had to change at halftime. That's not a good sign. Fit gets a 5 out of 10 as well. It's really wonky. For one of those boots that should theoretically be able to fit most people really well. And then feeling from a materials perspective, I'll give it a 6. I think it's nice that they kept leather on there, and I do appreciate with the 0.1 model they've now added the suede heel liner, and it's much better at least, but it still doesn't justify anything higher than a 6.
Cool. That gives it 20 points overall and a 5 out of 10. We're not doing the Messi. That's fine. So there we go. So that will give. See, my spreadsheet's gone wonky right now. Hold on just a second while I input some formulas. This is podcast at its very best. Listen to a man put formulas in on an Excel spreadsheet. Gives it that's still not right. Andrew, do you want to start while I fix this this formula here? Oh no, it's okay. I fixed it. That gives it a 6.6. 6.6 out of 10 overall for Noah's Adidas, which is actually exactly the same score that Nike got.
Oh, weird. Not playing favorites. Oh, wow.
Yeah, quite literally not playing favorites.
And every time somebody says, well, Noah's just a Nike fanboy. No. It's just the same. Noah's a Nike fanboy. No.
Tiempo's just absolutely awful is what that is.
The Tiempo has just ruined everything.
I'm tempted to get, just a quick aside. Jason from Boot Hype, when the 10s came out and he tested them everything, he was just like, don't get them, man. Don't get them. You'll hate them. You'll absolutely hate them. And I'm so tempted to review a pair and then just, instead of selling them as I do afterwards, just destroying them. Fireworks season is coming up. Just stuff it full of fireworks. And
I've wanted to do this with a Speedflow forever. Not Speedflow, a Speed Portal forever.
About to say, how dare you?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to explode a Speed Portal or cut it up and see if the Carbotex is real and then blow it up.
Okay.
You're on. Let's go.
Me, F50. Love these. Love the looks. 9.
9 for looks.
Yeah. I absolutely love the way these look. Performance is going to get a 9.
9 as well. Nice.
Fit is also going to get a 9.
Wow.
I actually give out 10s. It would get a 10 if it was just a bit tighter around here. It does have that. I have to pull this across a bit more to make it cover that spot.
I like to try and kind of runners loop them and things like that just to try and.
And I can't quite give a 10 on the field, but I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Wow.
Yeah, I absolutely love the F50. It's so good.
That is massive. So that gives that is our first boot to creep into the 9s. That is do the math, James. It's a 9.1. A 9.1 for the F50. That's huge. There we go. Okay. F50 plus.
Okay. The plus, The looks, I'm gonna be nice and give it a 7.
That is nice.
Even though it like, if you ever seen a zombie movie where they have like zombies have like weird growths coming out of random spots of their body, that looks like a zombie at 50. It's just like it got infected and there's just this weird growth on the bottom of the foot.
Amazing.
That's awesome. Immediately when I saw it the first time, I was like,
brains.
Yeah. Don't know about performance, leave that blank. Also don't know about fit, leave that blank. The feel, I'm gonna assume the upper is similar, so I'll give it a 7.5 just because I'm not 100% sure.
Cool.
I'm trying to get a pair. I found a pair for a really good price, and of course they were gone immediately.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So that's a 7.3 for the F50 Plus. Predator.
Oh, Predator looks 10.
10. It's a 10.
10 for the looks.
Boom. Loves it.
Yeah, 10. Performance, I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay.
Fit is going to get an 8.
Okay.
It's good, but the heel could just be that bit better. I just wanted a bit more from the heel.
Fair.
And the feel, like it feels really quality and stuff, so I'm going to give it a 9.
9. Nice. So that is another huge score. It's 36, and that gives it a 9 overall. Very nice. And just another boot to bring the whole score crashing down. Copa Pure, please.
Copa Pure. Looks 5.
Nice.
Y'all could have done better. Performance 5.
Y'all could have done better.
Y'all could have done better. Fit 4.
Oh,
that heel is so disappointing, and the whole, like, I guess this goes into the feel a bit. That whole like synthetic midfoot on the instep is ridiculous, and like the thing about it is it is exactly the same idea as what Mizuno did with the Rebula Cup.
Okay.
Which is, okay, they were made in Japan, but they're also a smaller brand with less R&D, and they did it miles better, having a synthetic midfoot with bumps on it. Miles better. So yeah, did I do the fit? I did the fit.
Yeah. Just waiting on the feel.
Yeah. The feel, 3.
Ouch.
Like I said in my review, it's got tougher competition now that Nike and Puma both bailed.
It's amazing how Nike and Puma stepped away, and it actually made things more difficult for Adidas.
Yeah,
because now everybody's looking at the other leather options with more seriousness.
And Adidas did not help themselves. There could have been some very simple adjustments they could have done to make it still compete, and they just didn't bother. They put out a boot to compete with a Legend 10 that was leather. They put out a boot to compete with a King Ultimate that was leather. Yeah. But the competition changed.
Absolutely.
So they either need to go completely back to the drawing board, or in my mind, they should just scrap the boot.
What would you put something else instead, or just?
I would push the Gloro and the Icon more. And then just have 3 main boot styles. And I like the idea. They talked about this on the Bootcast pod, which definitely go listen to those guys. Absolutely love them. Offer a synthetic pred and a leather pred.
Yeah, great idea.
It's got you covered for the Copa Pure.
Yeah, that's such a good idea.
Yeah, there's no reason for the Copa Pure to exist then. Absolutely no reason.
Yeah, you can have those takedowns and like the Icon and the Gloro for your pure leather boots that are there all the time, and then you could even offer a leather pred and a leather F50 if you really wanted to.
Yeah, leather F50 as well.
Great.
Make leather options for the boat.
That makes a lot of sense. Good job, guys, from the Bootcast podcast. Okay, it's me. So on to the Adidas. Let's get started with the F50. So the F50 Elite. I have given the fit an 8. Fit is pretty damn good. I like it. It's not perfect, but I really, really like it. The feel, I have given an 8. I like that a lot, but I'm unsure on the texture, the fiber touch. There's something about it I don't know. I don't know whether I want it. I don't want it. And it kind of annoyed me that the purple F50 is so much nicer than the other colorway, the advancement pack colorway. The advancement pack colorway upper is so much stiffer and like much it's kind of more disappointing, which also leads me into feel, which I've given an 8, and it could have been higher, but that advancement pack one really put me off because the purple one is so much nicer straight out of the box than that one. And looks, I have also given an 8. It's a nice looking boot. So that is an 8 overall for the F50 for me. The F50 Plus, I will I've heard the upper is slightly different. I haven't tried it, so I'm obviously kind of the same boat as Andrew. I'm going to give it a 7 for kind of the feel. And then for the looks, I'm going to give it a 5 because I just no thank you. Honestly, I can't deal with those pods. It's just, there's something about it.
They wanted to show off the technology. They could have done it so much better, but they had to show off their tech.
I did not enjoy that one bit. And then while I don't mind boots that have that upwards curve, that combined with the pods just makes it even worse. So yeah, that's my scores. It gives it an overall 6. So the Pred, I'm giving the Pred Fit an 8.5. It actually fits me slightly better than the F50 does. The Feel, I am going to give an 8.5 just because the materials are so premium, so quality. The Performance gets an 8.5 because it's absolutely amazing. And the looks, I am going to give a 9.5 because it's just beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. I don't know what they could do to make me want to give that a 10, but it's just so good. Maybe make less colorways. Yeah, so that gives it an 8.8 for me. The old Pred there, right in between Noah and Andrew's scores. The Copa Pure I haven't tried, so literally
don't bother.
Just the looks.
I'm going to give it a 6.
Yep.
And you know what? Let's be friendly. I'll leave it at that. I'll give it a 6. And that will bump the Copa's entire score. So scores on the doors for all of us. Oh God, hold on. Andrew's score is a 7.4 for Adidas. Very, very respectable score. Noah's score is a 6.6, that Copa Pure score, and the F50 Plus score, bringing it down. And my score is a 7.2, giving us an overall 7.1. So our first two brands are a 6.4 for Nike and a 7.1 for Adidas, which is, it may not sound like a lot, but I'd say that's
pretty good.
That's a fairly
that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
They have the Copa Pure that didn't bring them down as much. We live in a world where the deciding factor for whether Adidas is better than Nike is the Copa Pure is only slightly less or slightly better than the Tiempo.
Yeah, the Tiempo is only slightly worse than the
wild
Copa Pure.
World.
Oh dear. Let's just go to the chat for a second while we've done that. See what we've got here. Chris Bottle says he agrees about the F50. I had to use runner's loop, but apart from that, no issues. Yeah. GFC Training has decided to basically set the world on fire and said he really hated the Predators, which is an unpopular opinion, but he agrees with everything else.
Well, it's not like he's got hundreds of thousands of followers to share that opinion with.
Oh dear, millions and millions of people tuning in every single day. Gabriel Cabrera would like to know what our thoughts on the Adidas Crazy Fast 0.1 is. To give you a very short answer to that is buy the F50 instead.
Yeah, buy the F50 instead.
Let's have a look. Rick Sturp says the Icon sucks. That's Ricky. We discussed your beautiful gold boot earlier. I don't know if you were here, or the gold boots earlier, which you would have loved. Here we go. James, the patron saint of bad boots.
Hey now,
Justin is finally
off.
Justin can finally devote attention to his his attention on his drive home. Thank you, Justin.
I would like driving in Texas. I would I have had a gun pulled on me several times, so
Yeah, let's be careful.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Joji, I like this. Just real quickly, I like this one from Joji Karasawa.
Yeah.
Leather boot category. What's the best game boots from the Morelia DNA, the Montebelluna X55? Noah, you'd probably have a really good answer for this.
So Morelia DNA is exceptional. It's one of those it's one of those what do you call it? Like black sheep boots that just pops up out of nowhere, where a brand. This is actually an interesting connection to the Nike GripKnit thing. All Mizuno did was take two existing pieces of their football boot line, nothing different, and put them together into a pair of football boots that is it's probably in the top 5 football boots of all time, objectively. Yeah. I'm not talking about my opinion. I'm talking just like objectively. They are so good. And then the other one was the X55 limited edition.
Just regular.
Just the regular
one. The X55 and the Tiempo Montebelluna.
So the X-Fly 5, this one is one of my favorite boots of all time. It's probably top 10 for me. It's that good. Like, I just love it. I love everything about it. Yeah, exactly. Like, it is just so incredibly good. Yeah, no, honestly, the SE model probably gets the same rating as these, and just because they're basically the same.
They're almost the same, which is wild.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. So for me, that's also one of those top 10 of all time boots. And then the Tiempo Montebelluna is really incredible. It's got a lot of great features, but I don't think it stands up to the other two. It definitely doesn't stand up to the DNA, like, at all. I would take this any day over the Montebelluna just because of what it does from a performance perspective. So if you're talking like all time, I'm going DNA A6 Montebelluna.
Yeah, same.
There we go. That is a nice question and a nice question answered. Keep putting your questions in, guys, because we'll try and answer some questions in between each brand so that we don't just throw numbers at you all the time. So definitely keep getting those in. So next up on the list, I have New Balance.
I'm gonna make a recommendation real quick.
Go on.
I'd say maybe after New Balance and or Puma, we should maybe make the scores less, so to speak, just give an overall score for each. Otherwise, we are going to
I'm thinking if we do New Balance as is, and then we don't need to do Puma, I don't think, with individual scores, because the majority of it's crap. So we could do New Balance I would definitely do as a breakdown, and then I think everything else, we can do an overall score for that particular boot, and then just give some context, a few details as to what we think of that particular boot. Obviously, if you want to go into detail about anything, then do. Obviously, we've got the Adler coming up as well, so there'll be some thoughts to get into there on things like obviously the Yatagara shoe especially, and we can go from there.
I think me.
I think the New Balance, though, I think New Balance deserve their moment. They deserve their breakdowns
more than Puma, I'd argue.
Way more than Puma. Puma, I'm happy to rattle through with some thoughts on the Carbon and the Ultimate, because I think that's good. But the New Balance, I think they have earned their right to be discussed properly and in depth this year. So Noah, to you, sir, we have the 442, the Tequila, and the Furon. I've obviously bundled the Furon low and laceless together.
Beautiful. So for context, New Balance is absolutely crushing right now, as you guys have just said. I think, like, especially for wider foot shapes, the fact that they offer a wide fit in all 3 of their boots, yes, they're not as available sometimes in certain colorways, but just the fact that they do is incredible. I think every boot brand should do that. I think it's an important piece of catering to people who may not have the chance of fitting in other boots. So with that being said, looks for the 442, get a 6. I think they're fine. It's whatever, a little bit above average, I guess. Performance gets an 8. It's incredible for the price in America, not in Japan, obviously. For fit, they get a 9. They fit fantastically well on my feet for wide fit. And for feeling, they get a 7.
Okay. Cool. So that is a nice 30 overall. for those, which gives you an average score of 7.5. So nicely done.
Fair. Cool.
I was going to say that seems pretty balanced. Tequila, what's up?
All right. Tequila gets a 7 out of 10 for looks. And not much to say there, I guess. Performance gets an 8 out of 10. Fantastic performing football boot. And it gets a 9 out of 10 for fit. It's incredible. The hypo knit is ridiculous. And the feel gets a 8 out of 10 as well. I think pretty premium for what it is. The only thing that I would nitpick is the exposed knit is much better with the Plus model now, but the V4 Plus or the V4 regular model, the knit was a little cheap feeling. But the new one is they've made it feel more premium.
The Plus, as much as the Plus is minor updates, I think they made a big difference.
100%. So good job, New Balance. And that's also like that's just saying. That's just such a great thing for a brand like New Balance who are already crushing it. And then they just do the Mizuno thing where they tinker just a little bit and just make it like I should say Essex too. But, okay. Furon, for context, is one of my favorite boots on the market. So the looks, I think they look awesome. 8 out of 10 for me. Very good looking football boot. Performance gets an 8 out of 10 as well. The fit gets a 10 out of 10. It is one of the other boots that I fit in 0 problems straight out of the box.
Oh, no, giving out a 10.
Damn.
I know. And
the teacher doesn't give hundreds.
Yeah, exactly. And then the feeling also similar to Tequila gets an 8 because they're quite similar.
Nice. So that gives us 34, which gives us an 8.5, and the Tequila got an 8. So that is pretty high scoring round there from Noah, and overall that is an 8 overall. So that is huge.
Very solid.
Yeah, that is massive from New Balance right there. Andrew, with your very expensive 442s, talk to me.
Oh man, looks are gonna get a 5.
Okay.
Performance, I don't know. I haven't played in them.
Cool.
I've just tried them on in store.
Yeah.
Fit will get a 7.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it fits good. The heel is so. Maybe I do have a weird shaped heel. Anyways,
the realization in the middle of the podcast. Right. My life has been a lie.
The feel pretty good. But I have to put it in the context of its price here, and it just doesn't feel as premium as other boots on the market that are available here.
Fair enough.
So I'm going to give it a 5.
Cool.
Yep.
So that is a 5.7. There we go. Okay. Tequila.
Tequila.
Oh, sorry, Furon.
Tequila. No, I could do Tequila. It's fine. Tequila looks as a 7. And that's it. I haven't had them in hand. They're not available here. I'll get a pair at some point. Probably the next generation.
7 it is. Furon.
Yep. Furon looks is going to get an 8. I think it's a very good looking boot.
Nice.
I haven't played in them, so nothing on the performance. I have tried them on, though. I'm going to give the fit a 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to give the feel an 8. So very nice upper. Very nice upper.
It
well
is,
done,
yeah.
Balance. I expect. I want to review these soon, and I expect it's going to be a very positive review just based on the fit and how that upper feels. Like it's really nice.
Cool. That is a very respectable 7.8 is what we've got there. So overall, that brings our New Balance score for you to a 6.8. Which puts it above Nike, but not above Adidas.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I haven't tried the 442, obviously leather boot, etc. So I'm literally just going to score it on looks, and I'm going to give it a 6. There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
That's where I'm going with that. Then let's do the Tequila. So fit on the Tequila, I think is great. It's so comfortable. So I'm going to give that an 8.5. Then the feel, again, 8.5. I think it's premium. feels good, no durability issues. Everything just works really well. Performance, I'm going to give it a 9. I really like that boot. And then looks, I'm just going to give it a 7. I don't like it's good, but it doesn't stand out for me. There's nothing particularly special about the looks. So that gives it an 8.3 from me. That is quite the score. Furon, I'm going to give the fit on the Furon an 8. I liked it, but not quite as much as the Tequila. You could adjust that score the more you wear them. Like the Furon holds its shape a lot better than the Tequila does. But anyway, feel, I'm going to give an 8 as well. Feeling the whole feel on the ball, everything is great. Performance, I am going to give an 8.5. Unbelievable boot, like really, really nice. And looks, I am going to give an 8. I think it's a really nice looking boot. So there's some big scores going in for New Balance here. New Balance crushing it. So I've got my got my maths wrong again. So 8.1 for me. So
is that your highest rated brand?
That is comfortably my highest rated brand.
Not such a Nike fanboy after all, huh?
Yeah, my Nike is my lowest rated brand so far.
That's wild.
Like, I know, right? What's all that about? So scores on the doors. We have Andrew with a 6.8 for New Balance. Noah with an 8.1. I think, was that right? Did I say it? Hold on,
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 8.1, and me with an 8.1 as well. So no, that can't be right. Hold on a second. My maths is not math, and that can't be an 8.1 because that doesn't make any sense at all. 1 second. There we go. Mine's a 7.4. Still my highest rated brand, but not quite as high as that. And it gives New Balance overall a 7.4. And it means that New Balance are currently in the lead.
Nice.
Adidas have got a 7.1 as a result of the Copa Pure absolutely tanking them. Yeah. And New Balance are taking top spot there. Nice. Just nipping back over into the chat here. Chris Potter says Sakitos look interesting. Sakitos are the ones that are very interesting, really great, and I'm really looking forward to the Scudetta. That's it. Thank you very much. And that came about because Jonathan Campbell, I got a pair of Sakitos thanks to James mentioning them. Well, there you go. This is why brands need to give us money, man. Like, seriously, we are literally selling things for them. Ricky, unpopular opinion. I didn't like the DNA Morelia. Whew.
Well, Ricky, I can't say the things that I want to say.
Oh, dude.
You've just upset everybody, Ricky. Everybody is upset. Apart from me, I haven't tried them. Oh, dear. Don Mango, been debating on getting the Furons for a long time now. Stop debating and just buy them. They're fantastic. Yeah. There we go. AJ, the white, blue, purple Furon 7 Plus are currently only $150 on the New Balance website. And that colorway is amazing. I love that colorway. Really, really nice. Tracker, if Adler just added a swoosh, they'd be top shoe of choice. Yeah. You're probably not far off. Okay, so let's move back into the scores here. Now, what we're going to do is I'm just going to take your overall score for the boot and your thoughts, and then we will move on from there. Feel free to get your thoughts in, though. No need to rattle through any kind of hot takes or thoughts. Everyone's here. Everyone's having a good time. We've got a Future 7 here to talk about. So, let's not skirt around it. Let's tell it how it is. So what I've put in Puma is the Ultra Ultimate, obviously with the plastic sole plate, the Ultra Carbon, the Future 7, and the King Ultimate. That are currently my 4. So, Noah, you're up, man.
All right. So I have actually done this so I've actually calculated based on my scores. So you'll get like decimal places, just like we were going. So Ultra Carbon gets a 7.25 out of 10. The reason that's going to get such a high rating is I love the way it looks. I think they look, the carbons, it's hard. I'm such a sucker for carbon sole plates. I think they look so good. So that's 7.25. The ultra non-carbon plastic sole plate I don't have yet, and I haven't tried it, but it's a 6 out of 10 for looks. I think it's fine. It's whatever. That carbon sole plate just makes it look ridiculous. So 6 out of 10 for that one. The Future gets a 4, and it's just not there.
If anybody hasn't seen it yet, go and watch Noah's review of the Future 7. It's both tragic and hilarious at the same time. Oh, Noah's not trying to be funny, but it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, the 1 month review is when I really went after it. Yeah. When I was this is not.
Did. It was so obvious that you were so fed up with having to deal with the boot.
You're like, I don't want to have to talk about this stupid boot anymore and try and put it on my feet anymore.
That's how you know Noah's a professional, is he actually followed through with it too.
Yeah.
In spite of the words, the look on his face, probably his mental state, all telling him, screaming no.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's so bad. So that's 4. And then King Ultimate gets a 5.75, which 5.75. Will admittedly is a lot higher than I actually would rate it without the looks. I actually think the King Ultimate looks really cool. The design, it's very sleek. It's very sexy looking, but 5.75.
Nice. Thank you very much. And that gives us an overall score of 5.75.
Nice.
Handy. Andrew, talk to me about Puma.
Ultra 5 regular. I'm going to give it an overall score of 6.5. I haven't tried them, so
yeah.
Ultra 5 Carbon, that's going to get a 7.5, and mostly because it's bumped up because of the looks, because that just looks insane. I so absolutely love when brands are just like, let's just go for it.
Yeah.
Future. Oh no. I think what's even more sad actually is the fact that because I got these from overseas, these are considerably more expensive than almost any boot I've bought this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's more expensive than the Preds, than the F50s. It's more expensive than the Vapors, like way more expensive than all of them. If I take away the fact that I absolutely love this colorway, the looks and everything are kind of meh, I will say a 4 is probably acceptable. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that hurts.
And the King.
The King is gonna get a 4.5 because it looks a bit better.
Okay. Cool. So let's do a little math here. See, this is the problem with doing it like this, because before I had time to put everything in, I was like, yeah, you keep talking. I'm going to do the maths just over here on my little spreadsheet, and it's all going to be fine. So that gives it that gives overall score of 5.6 from Andrew. So that leaves to me. Ultra Ultimate, again, I haven't tried. And I think I'm just going to, based on it assumingly being the same as the Ultra Carbon, which I have, but without the carbon sole plate, I am going to give that a 6.5. The Ultra Carbon, I'm going to give that an 8. I said this on the podcast, and I've said it a few times, and there is an unquantifiable element to the Ultra Carbon. It's not just about the carbon sole plate. There's something about it that I adore. It's just so great. There's certain elements of it I absolutely hate. I don't like the heel at all. It makes me not want to wear it, but every time I put them on, I'm like, this is magic. I feel great. I am the king of all football. I am a god of football wearing these boots. And I agree with you guys. The looks, that they are the best point of view looking boots that are out at the moment. You look down at your feet, you're like, yes, I love those. The Future 7, I just want to rub something in a little bit to Andrew. I got these pretty much as they launched, and I paid about €100 for them. So
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
that was good times. But I have not enjoyed them one single little bit, to the point where I'm not a professional. I have not done a Noah, and I haven't actually put the review out on them. It will happen eventually. And yeah, you know what? I'm gonna complete the set and give them a 4 as well.
Maniac just showed up.
And sorry,
Maniac
Julio in the house.
Julio's
Nice.
here.
And then to be fair, I actually did I've just realized I did exactly what Noah has done. I did it earlier and put all the scores in, and then I have an aggregate score. So I'm just going to quickly have a look at that. I pre-prepared. And then my King Ultimate, overall, I came out at a 6 because I haven't tried it. I was just kind of working on it. I was like, yeah, it seems all right.
Nice.
So that's a 6. So what do we have here? That gives a 6. I have gone higher than both of you in almost every single brand. Like, it's funny how like
too nice. You're too nice.
Yeah, like everybody's scores, you can see a pattern as to where it's going, and like my scores are like always they're like a couple of points higher than each of yours in everything apart from a couple. Like it's interesting. There we go. Okay, so that is Puma done and dusted, and I will get the overall score, which is a 5.8.
Yeah.
That's a battering. Yikes. Oh dear. Let's have a quick look in the chat here. Yeah, just Julio arriving. Andrew, why are you wearing that Al Nassr kit with a sheep on it? He's taking shots at your Derby kit, man. He's be asking if there's Ronaldo on the back of it yet.
This one actually has my name on the back.
Nice.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Okay, so the next on my list is, let's flip it, go for something good. Got Adler. Let's do Adler.
Yeah.
Noah.
Who's going to score this higher, Noah or me?
Yeah, talk big numbers to me. Talk big numbers.
100% Andrew. And Andrew's going to score it higher. So Yamatokyo gets a 7.75 out of 10. Very good boot. Just the thing that kind of kept it down were just the feeling in hand. They haven't nailed the synthetic leather as good as like an Asics. So that's for me. Yep. 7.75 out of 10. The Yatagarasu gets a 9 straight up. Overall score. Excellent football boot. Horenzo gets a 8.5. The only reason it's a little bit less than Yatagarasu is just because it's a little more narrow. But a point to note about the comparison between the two is that I actually like the look of the Horenzo a little bit more because it is really sleek and beautiful looking. Even though the Yatagarasu I'll pick over that one every day. And the Jurumacon gets a 6.
Yeah. No love for the Jurumacon. Fair enough. Hold on. So what do we have there? 4 boots. That gives us a 7.8. That's a big score. Big score. Andrew, can you beat a 7.8?
Probably. The Yamatokyo, I'll give an 8.
Okay.
To those. They definitely need to improve the leather a bit more, and they just need to add the midfoot shank.
Please. Please.
Yeah. This midfoot shank makes such a big difference on all the boots that even if it makes the boots more expensive overall, I just think they need to do it for everything.
But the Yamatokyo is a really good price. You could raise the price a little bit and throw that midfoot shank in there. No bother.
Absolutely. Yatagarasu is getting a 9.5. I would like to see the sole plate change slightly, personally. Horenzo is going to get a 9. It would be the same as the Yatagarasu, but it needs that midfoot shank. I actually still have my Horenzos. And the Jurumacon, I'm actually going to give an 8. And the reasoning behind that is the Jurumacon is basically exactly like the Adlers I used to wear back in the day.
Nice.
And it's a very familiar feeling for me. And I have a lot of good memories in those. A lot of good memories.
Nice.
So, yeah. It's probably nostalgia talking, but yeah.
Even so, that is a huge 8.6. Massive 8.6. So I obviously have not tried the Atagarashu, the Horenzo, or the Jarmakan due to aforementioned leather. However, I have tried the Yamatokyo, and my aggregation of scores came out to a 7.7, which is what I will give that. And yeah, I basically agree with everything you guys said. The leather, I'm not so against. There's definitely like a film that kind of could be a little bit better, make it feel a little less plasticky. But my bigger issue is the midfoot shank. Like if you put that in there, that boot would be outstanding. And there's just something there that's missing it. If they put a midfoot shank in, I will buy a pair tomorrow in red, because I quite like the red.
Oh, so good looking.
Yeah, absolutely. So that gives Adler an overall score of 8. Bang on 8, and puts it up at the top by a good margin there. Can anybody beat the Adler? We do have Mizuno and Asics to come. So I think there's a definite chance of it getting knocked off the top spot there. Noah's like, oh yeah, here we go.
Oh yeah.
However, next we have Skechers, who I think are doing wondrous work with some of their boots. Listen to that, Justin. Wondrous work. And you should definitely buy a pair, despite them being Skechers. But Noah, where are we at with the Skechers? Thoughts, please.
Skechers Razor, which Andrew has in his hand, those get a 7.5 out of 10. I think they are a very good speed boot. I think the material choices, the transition between the forefoot and the midfoot is super seamless despite them being different materials. The integration of the knit actually works really well on these boots. The only thing I always say, I say that about pretty much every boot, every single boot needs an extra lace hole just in case. Every single boot. So I think the only thing that kind of, honestly, across the board, there was nothing in our 4 categories that the Razor didn't do like pretty well on. It's a good boot, in my opinion. The SKX, I don't have too much or as much praise about. They get a 5.5 out of 10. And sort of the biggest thing for me is the feel. They just feel a little cheap. I saw the newest colorway that Kane is wearing like 2 months ago at the Skechers headquarters in Australia. And the material is better with the updated knit and sort of especially, James, the outside, like the collar, right around the collar, that knit is a little it's very unprofessional looking. It looks pretty cheap, at least on that colorway. The new colorway, they made it look really clean and very robust. And so I'm hoping that score changes, but for now, 5.5.
Cool. Andrew?
This is going to get an 8.25 from me.
8.25.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's a very, very, very good boot. I literally think anybody who likes speed boots has to try these. No, they're not the most reactive, but the fit, and they are very, very comfortable for a speed boot. So they deserve a lot of praise for what they've done. The SKX, I was very kind to it in my review, and kind of taking a look back, as well as getting input from others. I think I'm going to drop it down to a 5.5.
Okay.
There's just a lot there's a lot more they could do with that, and they just kind of haven't delivered on kind of the promise. And it does feel pretty cheap, especially for what you're paying.
Yeah, like it is top end. It's top end prices. Like it's New Balance and Puma prices. So you've got to meet those levels. Cool. So that gets a 6.9 overall from Andrew for the Skechers. For me, just to round it out, I also, with my aggregate, I have the SKX at a 5.5 as well, for pretty much all the reasons that you guys have spoken about. But I think one thing that maybe you guys didn't mention that I do want to mention is the fit. I don't like the fit on this. There's something about it that I feel like it kind of comes in at the wrong points around these areas here. It's kind of wide in areas where I want it to be narrow, and narrow in areas where I want it to be a bit wider. And it runs too long. And I really don't like that. I think the fit is slightly off. And that is what dragged it down a little bit, outside of it feeling that little bit cheap. And I have not been able to break it in properly to an area that's soft enough for me anyway. The Razor, I've actually only been able to play in one once. I have a friend who is very kind and the same size as me, frequently buys boots off me, which is even better. But he had the Razor, so I managed to play in them once, and they're wonderful. Like they're so comfortable. I really, really like them. And I gave them an 8. That overall is, so it's a 6.9 from Andrew, a 6.5 from Noah, and a 6.8 from me, leaving to an overall score of 6.7, which I think for essentially a brand that's only just back into boots, and has one boot that is kind of just pulling everything down. Another, it's not like they're overall like very, very low on 2 boots, giving them a 6.7. They got 1 up and 1 down. I think that's pretty respectable.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. Okay. Let's just check the chat for a second here, see if anybody's going on. Let's have a look. Justin says, originally thought SKX, but since it's basically a GT, I'm too familiar, so Razor. Yeah, that's fair. I took Noah's advice, need to rate the product. Not Sorry, Yuli says, Horenzo better than everything else.
That is a lie.
Jonathan Campbell would like to ask if they're going to release the blue Yatagara shoe.
I've been asking for customs for ages, so we'll see what happens.
We will see.
I've been banging on that for forever. So
Ricky says Skechers need to do a conical or AG variation, and there'd be a match rotation. I think that's. I know, obviously, they're maybe not doing it for cost reasons, and they're new and everything, but an AG variation of the Razor, particularly,
especially,
would be,
amazing.
That would be lovely, lovely, lovely.
Crazy.
Justin has said he's actually decided to get a pair. We've finally broken him down.
Yeah.
We've finally broken him down. He is. So he said he took Noah's advice and need to rate the product, not the brand who made them. That is very true. Rate the product, not the brand.
Now, if he could take everybody's advice and stop loving the Edge.
Yes.
And then in the chat,
zing.
Chris Pottle is saying the Edge is good.
Where is that happening? I like the Chris.
I like the Edge too. Which
Chris, come
on, man. Don't encourage him. Don't
Chris,
encourage him.
You.
Come on.
What's happening? You start your own edging group. That might be a very different thing.
Oh,
dear.
We have to censor that?
I don't think so. It'll be fine. It's live. What are they going to do? Cut us off?
Especially this far into a podcast. It's like, who cares?
Okay.
Yeah. At this point, you're an hour and 40 minutes in. Who cares?
Yeah.
Right. Let's move on. Otherwise, we are going to be here all night. ASICS. I definitely want to get this one done. So, Noah, please start us off with the wonder
11.
of ASICS.
Yeah. So based on my ratings, XFly 5 got a 9 out of 10. It's amazing. It's one of my favorites. It's so good. The XFly Pro 2 gets an 8.5. And the only reason for that in comparison is just the shape is just not as good for my particular foot shape. So that's it, but it's an excellent football boot as well. And then the Acros 3, I haven't tried it yet, but based on my knowledge and experience with the Acros 2 and the way I think this looks, I'm going to give Acros an 8 out of 10.
Cool. There's some big, big scores, which we love. Andrew, where are we at?
I'm actually reversed. XFly 5. XFly 5 will give it an 8.75.
Okay.
That was... Reviewing that boot was very surprising because I was like, okay, it's an XFly. I'd worn the very first XFly and the second XFly, and I was like, I kind of know where this is going. But I was so surprised with the performance. Just little tweaks that they made such a massive difference playing on all sorts of surfaces. I was like, wow, this sole plate's surprisingly aggressive, and yet I'm not feeling stuck in the ground or anything. Like, it's really well designed. So it's an 8.75. XFly Pro 2, I'm going to give a 9. For me, the fit it just fits my foot perfectly, and it's such a good boot. It is one of those boots where if I actually had like a lot of money, I would probably go in and buy every single colorway of it. It's so good. It's so good. And then the Across 3, I tested the original, the very first Across they released. It wasn't great. I tested the first Across Pro. It wasn't great. And then they upgraded them massively. So I'm going to also give that an 8.
Cool. Nice. More huge scores. So what do we have here? So Noah altogether came out an 8.5 for the Asics. And Andrew's going to come out an 8.6. Just above. Now, I have given the XFly 5 overall a 9. But obviously, we're talking this one.
The synthetic.
But again, as we've said, the synthetic versus the leather, the difference is fairly minimal, if any. And the fact that you could say that is absolutely mind-blowing. I might be in love with that boot. I made a bold claim in a video about a month ago that the Tequila would be my boot of the year. I might have lied. The XFly Pro 2, I haven't tried. Again, leather, so I just won't rank that one. I don't want to skew it. And the Acros 3, again, I've only tried the original one, the first one, and I haven't tried anything since. So I'll leave that one as well, because I don't know enough about them to, other than looks, to really do much there. So I've just got the XFly 5 rated. So what we end up with is an 8.6 from Andrew, an 8.5 from Noah, and 9 from me, giving us an overall score of 8.7. Damn.
Wow.
God damn.
Wow.
Boys are making some boots. Yeesh.
Yeah. All right.
So if anybody's wondering, like, if you should consider buying an Asics boot, you absolutely
should. You literally cannot go wrong.
Yeah, any one of the like, realistically from us, the XFly 5 and the XFly Pro 2 are like absolute go-tos, must-tries. Get your feet in them, ladies and gentlemen. Get your feet in them. That one was pretty quick. So hold on. Jake Singer, is it possible to please explain the Asics naming conventions?
They, as much as they love producing brilliant boots, they absolutely hate making anything simple. I have considered for a while just sending an email to Asics and just being like, all right, I would love to come work for you guys, but we need to completely overhaul the naming system.
And for context for that question as well, the Australian Asics football market has a whole different line of shoes.
Yeah.
That it's completely different.
And all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, lethal testimonial. Yeah. Like the menace and it's just a nightmare.
Yeah. D-Rod was saying no Ultreza ratings. I'll throw some in there. I'll throw one in there for an Ultreza. I'll give it an 8.
Yeah. An 8 for the Ultreza?
Yeah. It's very good.
Yeah. Same.
Would you like to do the same, Noah?
Yeah. I don't think it'll change my rating too much, but 8 is.
Well, let's not leave them out. I completely forgot about the Ultreza. I'll be honest. I didn't even put it on my list, despite
it's
the fact
fine. It's not DS Lite Ultreza or anything, so
no.
yeah.
I've got
if
to
it had DS Lite in it, I'd have remembered about it.
I've got to switch my camera battery really quick, so I'm gonna
go.
I'll be back in 1 second.
It's okay. We will discuss.
Fill the time.
Answer questions. Andrew, while I do some maths as well, would you like to see if there's anybody else with anything that they would like answered in the chat there? I see Justin has left because we were picking on him again.
Oh. ZDDDDD has a great explanation for Asics. The DS Lite is the main series name. XFly is a high-end sub-series. XFly Pro is a sub-series of the XFly that has a wider design.
The fact that that's right and that's actually that's the way you have to explain it is ridiculous. Yeah. Oh god,
that's so funny.
Oh God, Blake Pope. As ASIC sizing is crazy. I've got a US 8 and a 7.5. Can't decide which one's better. One's super tight, one's loose. I kind of find the same, but the down half is the way that I would go for sure.
Yeah. I just as a quick aside, and we're already dragging this podcast on for so long, so to hell with it. The Tigre Ore, lethal Tigre Ore. Okay, so they had the lethal Tigre Ore in Japan. They had it in Australia, but in Italy you have the Tigre Ore IT, which is a completely different boot.
Oh my God!
So ASICS Italy had their own models for a while. And yeah, so that lethal name's been around since 2003, I think.
Yeah.
And the DS Lite's always been their main series. So the DS Lite name's been around since like almost the same.
Yeah, I used to live in Australia for a bit as well, and I was always picking up boots, different bits and pieces. Like I wasn't reviewing at the time, but I always had buying way too many boots. And I remember going into like Rebel Sports and looking at the ASICS boots and being like, I don't know what any of this is. This is too confusing. I'm buying nothing. And I just didn't try any because I'm like, I don't know what any of this is. Like, oh well. Okay, next up we have Under Armour. So we've got the Magnetico Elite 3 and the Shadow Pro 2. Noah.
Magnetico gets a 5.5, and it gets a higher rating than I thought it was, simply for the auxetic material of the upper, which I think is a really cool feat. Like, it's super techy and fun. I went through on my I can't speak English now. My initial review of that boot, I went through a whole like tech explanation of what auxetic material actually is. It's very confusing, and it's like very, very, very techy. So if you're not a boot nerd person, don't bother. It just molds to your foot really well. And then Shadow 2 gets a 7 out of 10. I actually really like the Shadow.
Nice. You've just made a lot of people in the chat very happy.
Yeah.
Andrew.
5 and 5.
5 and 5. Fives all around the board. Okay.
All right.
Good tech, but I think the boots are just kind of bang average.
Fair enough. The Magnetico, I had the opportunity to try, but not play in. So I've only had kind of like on feet, but that is getting a 5 for me. And then the Shadow Pro 2, I actually averaged out to a 7.6. Now I've only used the SG variation. I haven't used an FG, but you know, there's only so much I can do. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. And yeah, they have some cool stuff. I think the Shadow is a decent knit boot, but it's never going to be something that I'm not going to reach for it. There's going to be multiple other boots that I'm going to throw in the bag first. But you know, I see why people like it.
Yep.
I don't see why they like it as much as they do, but you know, each to their own.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So that gives Under Armour an overall score of 5.9. And I think they're like, if you take Under Armour at a 5.9 and you take Skechers, who also have like 2 boots and who are brand new to kind of coming back to this, and Skechers that are a 6.7, and Under Armour have been doing this for so long
Since
now.
2008.
Yeah, I think it shows how poorly Under Armour have managed to do in a 15-year time span, and how well Skechers have done in just 1 year. Like, I think that's quite impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. So the next one is Lotto. So I have the Solista 200 and the Gravity all as one, the Maestro 100 and the Stadio OG2. Noah.
Beautiful. Solista gets a 4.75. I was not a huge fan of that boot. It just felt really cheap in hand and didn't fit all that well. The redeeming quality is that the touch on the ball with that upper is like pretty padded for a knitted boot. So it's kind of interesting and fun. Reminds me a lot of Obra too. That like padded knit feel.
Yeah.
Maestro gets a 2, and I haven't tried it, but I really, really don't like the way it looks. I think it's just, it's garbage. And Stadio OG gets an 8 out of 10. I think that is a beautiful pair of football boots. Absolutely beautiful.
Nice. Andrew.
Sorry, James.
No, it's all right. It's all right. To be honest, like it's one of those things where it's like I just have an affinity for Lotto, but I'm perfectly happy to accept that some of what they do is just not great.
Yeah, I'm going a 4 for the Solista, a 4 for the Maestro, and a 7.5 on the Stadio.
Nice. Okay. I think that's, So, I am going to go. So I'll start with the one where I basically agree with you guys, which is the Maestro. The thing with the Maestro is the fit. So the fit absolutely boggles me. It really, like, this is one of those things where they had a couple of really great ideas. The material for the Maestro is really nice. They had something fantastic on the previous generation, and they've tried to use the same last as the Solista, but they've changed the material so much that it's just made it weird. And it runs so long, but you can't go down enough sizes to make it fit you, because then it gets too narrow. It just doesn't work. So that's a 4. The Solista I actually like. It has a fit issue. Again, it's too long and you can't get down enough to fit, but I really like the touch on the ball. And I think it's something Lotto do well, and they just need to like enhance these things. They were one of the first brands to really make a big deal out of taking that chunk out of the heel to make it soft. They did that with the Maestro. They just didn't do it well enough, and then they didn't capitalize on it and change it. They've been using that same tech for 5 years. It's like if they'd have changed that, they'd have beaten everybody else to it. The Solista has a really great knit upper with a coating that's hydrophobic, long before we had a hydrophobic knit on a GX. And they just didn't capitalize on it and advance it. And they've been using the same boot and the same tech for 5 years. They just need to catch the hell up and maybe actually do something. But anyway, I like the Solista, so give that 7. And shock horror, of all things, I've tried the leather boot. I have actually tried the Stadio OG2. I have a pair. Thank you, Lotto, because they sent them to me. So I gave them a 7.
Nice.
Nice.
Because I think that is if nothing else, it's a rather lovely looking boot. And I love things with floppy fold over tongues, even if they're a bit annoying.
Yeah.
So we end up with a 5.2 from Andrew, a 4.9 from Noah, and a 6 from me, giving us a 5.4 overall and dropping Lotto into last place.
Yeah.
Oh,
that won't be for long.
That won't be for long.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
let's keep rolling. Let's keep rolling through, because we're
nearly at 2 hours. Speaking of not lasting long, Umbro. Noah?
All right. So Toko 4 Pro gets a 6.5 out of 10. I was really, really surprised by the quality of the leather. They feel unbelievable on feet just in that forefoot area. But the heel area, unfortunately, is shocking. So, Toko 2 is a 3 out of 10. I have not tried it, but similar to the Maestro, I just can't do the looks. I just think it looks horrible. And then the Velocita, I tried the Velocita Alchemist Pro, the one with the B-wing structure or whatever. 3.5. It really, I tested it and it was not good. It didn't fit well. It felt plasticky. So that's me.
Cool. Andrew?
5 for the Toko.
Uh-huh.
And a 2 for the Velocita. It's just such a poor boot.
Yeah. So I haven't tried the Toko, but I have come across and had in hand a pair of the Toko 2. And they're bloody awful. I like the idea of the D3O that they've put in the previous boots that are on it. I agree with Noah. It looks hideous. All the different, it's like a Frankenstein's monster of a boot. I cannot abide the idea of that boot one bit, and I'm going to give it a 2. And the Velocita, I have tried the previous generation, not the current one, and they've confused things with 3 different variations of the Veloster, which pisses me off. The sole plates are terrible. I feel like Umbro don't give a rat's ass, and I'm going to give that boot a 2 as well. Take that, Umbro, and your nonsense. So this, let's have a look. What have we got here? No, I've done that wrong. God damn it.
It's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad.
I need to divide that. I'm not doing the maths. We've been doing this for too long.
Even if it does end up above Lotto, we need to put it below Lotto. I don't even care if the numbers tell us it's above.
It does not come anywhere close to being above
okay.
Lotto. It gets a 3.3. It's an absolute battering. Umbro, do
Higher
better or give up.
I'm pretty sure they're going to give up pretty soon. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Diadora is next up. So I put on. So I don't know if you guys have different thoughts, but I put in the Brazil, the match winner, the Maximus, and the Veloce.
Works for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Beautiful.
Noah, you're up.
All right. Brazil gets a 7.75 out of 10.
Nice.
Amazing. I just love the way it feels. It's a classic boot. It looks incredible. All that. The match and the Maximus I have not tried, but I will give feel rating or looks rating, for both of them. I think the match has to be a 9 out of 10. It's like all the old I grew up watching all the referees in the match, and it was like, that's epic, The Maximus gets an 8 out of 10 for looks for me. I think it looks beautiful. Recency bias with the gold edition. However, I do think it looks really cool. And then the Veloce, which I have worn pretty extensively, is a 6.75 out of 10.
Nice. Andrew.
I actually have worn this Brazil. I will give it an 8.5.
Nice.
That's great. Really enjoyed it. It was in my bag for forever, and then a teammate here needed a pair of boots, and I just gave them to him. And he's still wearing them 7 years later.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, I will preface this. He's not playing as much as he used to because he's coaching. So he's mostly using for coaching boots. But yeah.
But even so.
He put them on and immediately was like, this is the best fitting boot I've ever had on my foot.
And no shot any modern boot goes 7 years. No shot.
Exactly.
No, not a hope.
The match winner, I'm going to give a 7.5. It's a bit weird, but they have improved the looks versus the original ones, I think. The Maximus, I love the original Maximus. So I'm going to give that an 8.5. And
nice.
The Veloce, I'm going to give that a 7.5.
Okay.
I haven't played them, but they've done, I think they've done a pretty good job for what tech they have available for them and where they are in the market. I think they've done a pretty good job.
Nice. So the Brazil I have tried. I have worn the Brazil. And I will give that an 8. I think it was slightly better than the Stadio. The match Maximus, I will be just giving looks ratings, and they're both getting 8s.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Veloce, I have had like kind of in hand. I don't even think I ever put it on my feet. I will give it a 6.
Okay.
Wasn't over.
That's fair.
Somebody's asking about the B Elite, which is like a modern version of the Brazil. The B Elite
it's super terrible. I tried it.
Yeah. It's such a like the Brazil is. I think it's because the Brazil is so good that you're like, okay, they've upgraded it, so you're expecting it to be more like a Morelia DNA, and it's not.
Right.
At all.
Right. Yeah.
It's if I was going to give it a score, maybe a 4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't get that one. Get the Brazil.
Get the regular Brazil.
Cool.
Deal with the weight. It's so good.
Okay. And finally, we have the potential only remaining brand that poses a threat to the victory of the impending victory of ASICS, which is Mizuno. This, I do not know how this is going to go. Obviously, what I'm probably going to do is I'm just going to abstain from everything apart from the alpha. And I'm just going to give the alpha. I'm just going to give the alpha a rating, and the alpha is going to get an 8.5. And I will leave the rest to you fine people as the tension builds. Noah.
Okay, so I am going to give the Neo 4 Beta a 9 out of 10. The only thing that rating for me personally should have been a tiny bit lower just because the fit isn't as good because it's got quite a narrow midfoot, but unbelievable execution of a football boot. It is sensational.
Really good.
The Alpha gets an 8.5 out of 10 as well. So fantastic. It's one of the best speed boots on the market. It's one of those boots that everybody needs to try. It is so good. And also a big asterisk there is that the Elite model is almost as good, which is scary.
Yeah. It's crazy.
The Neo 4 gets an 8.5 out of 10. And that fits me better than the beta version, but it's not as tech focused and not as aggressive. So that's how that rating worked out. And the only 10 out of 10 boot on this entire list for me is the Morelia 2.
There it is.
Morelia 2.
Hard to beat it. Hard to beat it, man.
It's the GOAT. It is the GOAT.
I gives an overall score of 9 out of 10 to Noah's Mizuno ratings. That is huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Andrew.
Neo 4 Beta is going to get an 8.
Okay.
Surprisingly. I expected a bit more from it. I was pretty disappointed with it's better, but it's not good enough to make me put it as a match day boot. The Alpha is going to get an 8.5. Even now, it's been out for almost a year, and even now, it's still keeping up with all of the newer speed boots. It's just an incredible boot. Ridiculous lockdown. Neo 4 is getting a 9. It just fits so good. There's a reason why so many people wear that bloody boot. It's so good. It needs to be updated better, but I can't knock it for what it is. And then the Morelia 2, I can't give it a 10. I'm going to give it a 9.5, same as the Yadagara shoe.
That seems fair. So that gives an 8.75. So that gives us an overall brand score for Mizuno of 8.8, pushing it to 2.2 above the ASICS and making it our winner. So the Mizuno is top at 8.8, followed by ASICS at an 8.6. Then, sorry, I'm looking at this as we go. I'm assuming, so Adler got an 8. So that's our top 3. So we got Mizuno, ASICS, and Adler. Japan is doing something right.
Yep.
Following on from the Adler, we're going to be looking at Diadora. Now, we do have to preface the Diadora that there was a lot of Diadora there that was like, we haven't tried these, here's looks. So there's a lot of looks-based ratings there, and they do look amazing. So do take that with a little pinch of salt that we have done a lot of looks-based there. But Diadora came out with a 7.9 with an asterisk. Then after that, we are into some of what you would call maybe the bigger brands. You got New Balance coming in with a 7.4, which is very, very respectable and coming above your Nikes, your Adidas, everything like that. Next up, you have Adidas with a 7.1, which I think is, again, I think this is very fair. I think this, while we've kind of, as we've done this, I think this has come out very, very well. Next after that, we are looking at Nike with a 6.4, I believe. Oh, no, sorry, Skechers with a 6.7 coming in after that. Then Nike with a 6.4. Then we are down at Under Armour with a 5.9. Lotto with a
Puma.
Oh, sorry, where's Puma? I forgot Puma. Under Armour with a 5.9. Puma with a 5.8. So Puma is 0.1 below Under Armour. So Under Armour with a 5.9. Puma with a 5.8.
There's your hot take.
Lotto with a 5.4. And bottom of the pile, Umbro with a 3.3. I will put that list up in the edited version. I'm not going to lie to you, everybody. I am not going to be filling in all the different graphics and pictures for the edit for a 2 hour and 10-minute long podcast.
Real quickly,
real quickly, go on.
We need to talk about Sokito real quick.
Oh, I put them on the list and then I didn't add them. Yeah. Go.
I will give them an 8. overall?
Yeah.
It would be higher, but the looks drag them down.
I'm going to give him a 7.5.
Okay.
7.5.
No, I'm assuming you haven't tried Sokoto yet.
Completely abstaining. I have no idea.
Okay,
I've talked to them on Instagram trying to get some boots in, but yeah, no idea.
Yeah.
Cool. So 7.75 is what that makes that one. But
sound good.
Yeah. But yeah, so there will be no graphics, but I will put this table up at kind of around this time period so that everyone can see where it is. I might even just put it down in the comments. But we're obviously not going to take questions this evening.
Yep.
But thank you all so much for joining us. There's been a lot of you jump on and off. There's been overall 263 people have come and viewed and left.
Thank
There's
you
been a maximum of 40 of you all on at the same time, which has been absolutely amazing. If you are still here, please hit that like button before you go.
Yep.
Get subscribed to Boot Wizard. You are here and you have been for 2 hours. You crazy fools. Head over to @Boot Wizard Boot Reviews to check out my Instagram. And then you can check out Noah Kavanagh at Noah Kavanagh. But Noah.Kavanagh, I'm sorry, on Instagram and also here on YouTube. And Andrew at Lockhart Boot Blog. I do that every week at Lockhart Boot Blog on Instagram and also on his blog, lockhartbootblog.com. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes,
I have really enjoyed that.
With us.
And honestly, I think that is a really definitive list. And I think it's really accurate. I'm really pleased with how that's turned out.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything they would like to? Yeah, come back to us in a year. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add before we sign off, go home, and I get to go to bed? That's a no.
Nothing.
You should sleep.
Ladies, everybody. Have a good one. I'm going to kill the feed now. Bye.
Bye.